A very good morning and welcome all of you to the daily news analysis for 21st of January 2025. So in today's news analysis, we are going to talk about Buddha's excavation. We are going to talk about Waqf Amendment Bill, what the Parliament Standing Committee has got to say. And we are also going to talk about the Uttarakhand passing its Uniform Civil Code. What is the entry in the constitution that enables the state governments What is the entry in the constitution that enables the state governments to enact their own uniform civil code? We have been hearing about uniform civil code for quite some time now. Now, finally, one state has passed its own uniform civil code. So, what entry in the union list or state list or concurrent list enables the state government to pass its own uniform civil code? This is an important update for today. Then joint committee, we've already seen, settled with the borrowers only after exhausting all options. RBI tells asset reconstruction companies that you can settle the loan with the borrowers after exhausting all the options. Now Uttarakhand to roll out UCC by end of January. Uttarakhand, we have seen that. Which panel is better for Mullaperiyar? Now, Mullaperiyar dam dispute has been raging for quite some time now between the state of Tamil Nadu and the state of Kerala. So, this is the context of today's news analysis. Pollution case. In Delhi, we see one house is having 4, 5, 6 cars. So the Supreme Court has raised a pertinent question in the light of the pollution mayhem in Delhi, that how many cars can a household own in Delhi? How many cars? The more the number of members, the more the number of cars. But that has to have a cap, because there is parking restriction in the area. Because there is a restriction, there is a cap on the pollution that environment can bear. So we are going to start with these news articles. The first thing first, art and culture. Ratnagiri excavation has revealed a very large, very gigantic Buddha's head. Archaeological Survey of India has resumed the Ratnagiri excavations, which were put on hold for the Lalitgiri site. For the excavations to take place on Lalitgiri site, Ratnagiri site was earlier put on hold. Now, after Archaeological Survey of India has resumed the Ratnagiri excavations, they have found one large colossal Buddha head and a giant palm of the hand at Ratnagiri site. So this news has been making its appearance in the last 3-4 days on various news portals also. Aim of the latest excavation: unearthing the partially visible structures and the sculptures, and to find out if any shrine or complex or charity complex, a sacred Buddha assembly or prayer hall, whether there was any kind of sacred prayer hall during the Buddha time period, right? To know the ceramic assemblage. While we all know the importance of Buddhism as the topic in UPSC Civil Services exam, quite time the questions have been reappearing every year, year after year. Now we have to see overall why this excavation now, and what is the link between Odisha, Southeast Asia and Buddhism. The golden triangle, the golden heritage triangle part that the government has been talking about. Odisha has maritime and trade links with Southeast Asia. Items of trade: pepper, cinnamon. Why? Because we are connecting the dots between Buddhism and overall Southeast Asia, including the sites in India, Nepal, etc. Right? So these things are there. Now, items of trade. Then Bali Yatra, literally voyage of Bali. Bali Yatra, a 7-day festival of Odisha to commemorate 2000-year-old maritime and cultural links. Is everything going fine, everybody? Okay, so what is the purpose? We have to see the context, overall context. After this news has appeared, overall context as to what is going on vis-a-vis Buddhism in India, right? Now, Ratnagiri, located 100 km northeast of Bhubaneswar, this is a part of famous Diamond Triangle. I was saying Golden Triangle, but this is a part of famous Diamond Triangle of Odisha, along with Udaygiri and Lalitgiri, Ratnagiri, right? Literally meaning hills of jewels. Diamond of Triangle means hills of jewels. So these three sites, Udaygiri, Lalitgiri and Ratnagiri. first documented as historical site in 1905. I ask you a question. Why 1905 otherwise is important in the modern history of India? It hasn't got anything to do with art and culture, but just a question, a brain teaser for you guys. The site stands on a hill between Birupa and Brahmani. Birupa and Brahmani rivers. The site, Ratnagiri site, stands on hills between which rivers? This can also be asked because of the excavation revelation that this giant head of Lord Buddha and a palm of hand has been found, as you can see in the images. So what are the two rivers? Birupa and Brahmani rivers. 1958 and 1961 excavations led to the discovery of many remains of Buddhism era, including a brick stupa, 3 monastic complexes, and over hundreds of votive and commemorative stupas, right? So these things are there now. Ratnagiri, the center of ancient Buddhist learning. These are just facts, so I have no option except to read them out. You can read them out through your PPT, the PDF that will be provided to you on the Telegram channel, Jatin Verma, PW only IAS, right? Yes, the partition of Bengal. Okay, Anshu Singh. What was the date? 16th of October 1905. Now, experts date Ratnagiri to 5th and 13th century. Peak period of construction is dated between 7th and 10th centuries. Key Buddhism center in ancient times. It used to be a key Buddhism center in the ancient times. Beginning of Swadeshi movement, yes, you can say. Okay, rivaled Ratnagiri as a site rivaled Nalanda in Bihar as a learning center. So it used to be of the stature of level of Ratnagiri used to be of the level of Nalanda insofar as learning center of the Buddhism is concerned, with even some of the Tibetan texts even seen at the place where Mahayana and Tantrayana, also known as Vajrayana, that involves the mystical practice and concepts, sets of Buddhism originated. Okay, Mahayana and Tantrayana originated at Ratnagiri. Okay, Rohan, fine. So these things are there. Renowned Chinese Buddhist monk and traveler Hind Sang also is said to have visited Odisha, the site of Ratnagiri. Okay, now another important news from art and culture or history, Kuka movement in Punjab. Okay, so Punjab Chief Minister paid a tribute at this place, but what we are interested in is the Kuka Martyrs Day has been observed. So on January 17 and 18, on January 17 and 18 in 1872, some 66 Namdhari Sikhs were killed. Okay, they were executed and in the way that they were placed in front of the cannons and blown up. The cannons that you know for army thing, okay, they were these 66 Namdhari Sikhs were killed by placing them in front of the cannon head. Now, what is this Namdhari movement? What is this Namdhari movement? The Namdhari movement basically, what is this Kuka movement basically? These people, Namdhari Sikhs, used to recite the religious texts of Sikhism at a very high pitch, So that is why in Punjab this high pitch is called as Kook. Okay, so that is why this movement is also called as Kuka movement. So also known as Kuka movement, social and religious uprising in Punjab during the mid 19th century. What did this movement stand for? What did the Kuka movement stand for during that time in 1872, around 1870s? This movement stood for getting rid of all the discriminatory practices in Sikhism. Try and understand. Ram Singh Kuka, the leader of this movement, he stood up for reform of Sikhism to restore it back to its original glory. Right? Now, the goal to restore Sikh practices to their original purity and resist British influence. That is why, since they were rising against the British influence on Sikhism, these 66 Namdhari Sikhs were executed by the Britishers. So, to commemorate this day, Punjab Chief Minister, as the head of the state, paid tribute to this movement on its Martyrs' Day. Okay, role of leader Ram Singh challenged the status quo in Punjab and preached against various social evils or vices like consumption of alcohol and meat, etc. Called his supporters to boycott foreign goods, British services, and educational institutions. Even though it was a small appearance in the newspaper, nonetheless, sometimes these questions are asked. Okay, as the constitutional functionary, chief minister of the state is visiting there, so we thought it right to cover this news for you guys. Who are Namdharis? Namdharis were a Sikh sect found by Sadguru Ram Singh in Ludhiana on April 12 in 1857. 1857 is very easy to memorize, very easy to remember because of the date of the uprising. Okay, so also called as Kukas because of their trademark high-pitched style of reciting Gurbani. Since they used to recite Gurbani, the language, the text of Gurus, at a very high pitch, which is known as Kook in Punjab. Okay, so that is why in Punjabi it refers to screaming or crying. That is why this movement is also known as Namdhari Sikh movement, is also known as Kuka movement. So we've given enough time to it. Now Joint Committee on Waqf Amendment Bill begins the last round of talks. Why do we appoint joint parliamentary standing committees? Why do we have to appoint them? See, we need to appoint these. Just a minute, guys. Let me check your comments side by side. Okay, when there is a dispute or when there is a kind of lack of consensus on the bill, any new proposed legislation that has been introduced in either houses of the parliament, either house of the parliament, Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, to reconcile the differences between opposition parties and the treasury benches and the government benches, what is done? A parliamentary standing committee is appointed. When a parliamentary standing committee is comprised of members from both the houses, then it is known as joint parliamentary standing committee. So here we see the word joint, so that means it was the committee that has been appointed comprises of the members from both the houses of the parliament. Clear? Now, Parliament's Joint Committee on Waqf Amendment Bill has entered the last leg of its discussions. Okay, last round of deliberations, and the members have been given 48 hours to submit the report, to make their amendments to the legislation, to suggest amendments to the legislation. What is the advantage of having the discussions in the parliamentary standing committees? See, in the limelight of the camera, political party every political party acts very rigid. It adopts a very rigid stance because everything is being recorded in the books of the parliament, in the books of the house, Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. But the closed backdoor nature of the parliamentary standing committee meetings gives the parties enough leeway, enough leg room to be flexible about their positions, so as to let the law pass, so as to let the law see the light of the day. Now, in this case, as the parliamentary standing committee is, as the matter is very sensitive to the Muslims, matter is of Waqf property. What is a Waqf property? We are first going to understand that. That is why on these sensitive yet rigid matters, it is appropriate to appoint a parliamentary standing committee and let the political parties of all hues and colors reconcile their differences in the closed door setting, in the setting away from the camera, in the setting away from public posturing, where MPs and MLAs take rigid positions so as to let their electorate know through the live telecasting of the proceedings that yes, they are rigid about the provisions in the Waqf bill or any other bill. Got it? So this is the most important point. Static portion though. Now, Waqf, what is the Waqf? We have to understand that Waqf refers to the endowment of property for religious or charitable purposes. Suppose if there is a person who is Muslim, okay, and he wants to give his property to Islam, that property will be held in the custody of Waqf board. Okay, Waqf Act, first act was brought about in 1995. It is a legal framework. Suppose if a Muslim person dies without writing his will, without giving his will. So that person's property would also vest in, that possession would also vest in Waqf Property Act 1995. Now that a new bill, 2024 bill has been considered, is being considered, so some vital changes have been brought about by the parliament, by the government of the day, which are not acceptable to certain sections of political parties. Okay. So, the Waqf Board Act, initially, which was enacted in 1995, creates a legal framework which basically creates a legal framework for governing the administration of Waqf properties in India. Waqf properties means how the properties would be governed, how the rental income of these properties, how the possession of these properties would vest in Waqf Board automatically. All the places of Islam religion vest in Waqf Board. Such is the power given to it, right? Now, the government wants to amend this act through amendment bill. The certain provisions of the act, this new bill, are not acceptable. What are the provisions? Mandatory property verification. All the property claims by Waqf Board must undergo mandatory verification to ensure transparency and prevent misuse. What kind of misuse? What misuse are we talking about over here? Some of the properties, it is being alleged, it has been alleged many a times that some of the properties were encroached upon or usurped by the Waqf Board in the absence of no legal heir of that property. When some Muslim person died, so it was assumed that the property vests in Waqf Board. Later on, when they came back to India, when the relative of that died person came back to India and claimed that property, Waqf Board did not give the control of that property to the family person, to the family members of the deceased person. Getting my point? So these kind of allegations have come up, far and few in between. That is why the government is now saying that new bill will make it mandatory for all such property claims to be verified. That is one point, right? Restructuring Waqf boards. Changes to section 9 and section 14 which deal with the composition of the Waqf board, and they say that representation of women and non-Muslims would also be there. Why the representation of non-Muslims would be there in the Waqf board, a body specially constituted for Muslim properties? So this allegation, this objection of certain sections of Muslims is also valid, that why do you want to have non-Muslim members in it? Got it? Clear definition of Waqf properties, redefining what constitutes a Waqf property to remove any kind of doubt whatsoever. Am I clear? Dispute resolution mechanism. Introduction of a more efficient mechanism to resolve disputes related to Waqf properties. Efficient mechanism. If there is any dispute as to what constitutes this property, Muslim property, Waqf property, there has to be a clear-cut mechanism. No kind of diktats of only Waqf board will prevail. If a Muslim person alleges that his property should not go to Waqf after his death, that property, that kind of a dispute should be dealt with in a clear-cut mechanism, a well-enunciated mechanism. There should be no ambiguity about it. But what happens now is, if a Muslim person who has no legal heir does not want to vest his property in the Waqf board, then also after his death, Waqf board is usurping upon the property in some cases, in very, very few cases. Okay, though this is a sensitive matter. Now, involvement of district magistrate. DM, a functionary of the government, will oversee the verification and regulation of the Waqf properties to ensure the accountability. These provisions, provision number 5 and provision number 1, secondly provision number 2, thirdly provision number 2, especially these are not acceptable to the certain sections of the Muslim community. Clear? Let me just see if... Okay, just a small announcement out here. Today onwards, I'm going to start with the polity series under Udan series of lectures. which is a free initiative for all those appearing in the prelims 2025. If you know any of your friends, any of your library mates, coaching mates who are appearing for prelims 2025, we as team of teachers will be giving our best to this program insofar as highlighting the salient provisions of Indian polity and governance for prelims 2025 are concerned. Okay, is concerned. So, highlighting of constitutions, understanding constitutional articles, all those things we'll be doing in these classes. Now, settle with borrowers only after exhausting all options. In the light of increase in the non-performing assets of the RBI of the banks, RBI has said that you should settle with the borrowers. Settlement of loan means that, let's say, if there is 10 lakh rupees a borrower had borrowed. Okay, now bank says that you are not able to pay. Okay, let's both these parties arrive at a settlement. Bank says, okay, let's settle the loan at, let's say, 3,50,000. Okay, so settlement amount arrived at 3,50,000. That means bank is somewhere bearing a loss of 6,50,000, the amount originally borrowed by the borrower. This is, a loss to the bank. Whose money is the bank holding? Bank is running on the deposits by public. So these deposits by public, if frittered away, if losses are incurred like this, on the public money, a bank which is running on the public money, if it incurs losses like this, there will be a run on the bank, bank will go into failure. Bank might go bankrupt. That is why RBI has said that the guidelines that have been there, asset reconstruction companies, for the asset reconstruction companies, envisaging that settlement with the borrower should be undertaken only after all possible ways to recover dues have been examined. RBI also updated the master direction, RBI asset reconstruction companies directions. Why is all this happening? Yesterday we saw that RBI has let loose on the rupee depreciation. RBI has let some guards off the rupee depreciation vis-a-vis dollar. Now, today we are seeing that the directives regarding regulation of non-performing assets have come up, asking the banks and asset reconstruction companies to settle with the borrower only if bank has exhausted all the options, litigation, etc., sale of property or selling of the immovable or movable asset on which the loan was borrower. If somebody borrowed loan to buy a car and he says that he is not able to pay the loan, then whether the car should be picked up and sold off or whether the settlement should be arrived in the first go. So settlement should not be the first option now. Settlement option should be considered only after exhausting all other options. Here, now what are asset reconstruction companies? Let me quickly explain to you what are ARCs. See, bank, what is its job? Bank's major job is to accept deposits from the public and lend money to borrowers. In the form of loans. But if some of these borrowers are not paying loans, what should the bank do? Should the bank run behind them? There would be so many of them. Okay, banks' energies would be diverted in a non-essential purpose, in something that is recovery of bad loans is a very strenuous task for any bank. It will have to deploy employees to recover money. This is like throwing the good money behind the bad money. That is why these bad loans, which we call as NPAs, non-performing assets. Why assets? Because every loan which is giving interest to the bank, income in the form of interest to the bank, it is an asset. But if this stops coming, if this loan also stops coming, the principal amount and the interest amount both have stopped being paid. The customer has stopped paying both of them. So this will become non-performing asset. Till the time it was paying, customer was paying the EMI, it was a performing asset. But the day the customer stops paying the EMI, 30 days from them, 30 days from that date, or 180 days from total 3 months from that date, 90 days, okay, total 3 months, then it becomes NPA, 90 days past due. 90 days past due. So these type of assets are sold to asset reconstruction companies. They will reconstruct the asset. What do we mean by reconstruction? Reconstruction means that if there is a fall in the aviation business in India, that aviation companies like Jet Airways, Indigo, Kingfisher, they are not performing. Let us create asset reconstruction company will create conditions to enable the aviation companies to fly again, to do better again in terms of profit. Once the profit will be created, only then will the bank be in a position to, only then will the company be in a position to pay the money. Everything that was going down will come up. Going down the drain, the money was invested, company was doing better. Only because of the situation in the industry, things went down. Aviation industry overall is not doing well. Telecom industry was not doing well. But these asset reconstruction companies have to first see if they can create enabling conditions for the company to work. Right? For the company, maybe company has borrowed 1000 crores of loan and is not able to pay. Will lending in such condition, lending another 200 crore rupees is a good option, or should the company be sold off altogether? Bank will take either this call or the other call. Okay. I'm trying to explain you the static portion. Either this can be an option or that can be an option. You can settle with the borrower as a second option. Okay, this could be second, this could be one. Either try to help the company run its business or settle with the borrower. Settle with the borrower only when there are no other options available. Second option is not available. What is the second option? First option is ARC will inject another 200 crore rupees. What will be the third option? Third option could be changing the board of directors and the CEO of the company. Board of the company. Management changes. What can be the fourth option? Selling off the assets of the company. Selling assets, building, aircrafts, etc. Got it? After exhausting all these options, RBI is saying settlement should be resorted to. Settling of loan at a value below the book value should be used only when all other options have been exhausted. Clear? So this is the meaning of settlement, guys. Now, explanation of Indian economy. You can call it as economy explainer. You can label it in your notebook in this manner, that when we revisit this topic, either through our static classes or through these DNA daily current affairs classes with me, Jatin Verma, you can JV or something you can write. We will take it up next, then the next leg of this thing, whenever some new regulations come up for ARCs by RBI, we will take it up from this point onwards. Okay, so be clear. Now moving further, new guidelines by RBI. Every ARC should frame a board approved policy. ARCs are also having a board of directors. Okay, what is a board? See, this is a board, not the board that I am writing on. Don't be, okay, board. Then board takes a call to appoint CEO. Board takes a call to appoint CTO or chief financial officer. Likewise, board is comprised of the people who are holding shares in the company. Clear? Board comprises of the people who are holding shares in the company. Which company? Asset reconstruction company. What does asset reconstruction company do? It is in the business of buying the bad loans of the bank and trying to convert them into good loans, good money, through selling of stake, change of board of the company. Which company? Not the ARC, the company which is having bad loan. Okay, so this is there. Now, asset reconstruction companies, this is all static. Please read it yourself by downloading the PDF. Okay, we have to abide by the time limit also, so that it is beneficial for you all also. What subjects will I teach? See, I'm into dynamic subjects. If current affairs is my forte, polity and economy are my primary subjects. Okay, concepts of polity, economy, etc. Then social issues, the dynamic section of it, Waqf bill, etc. Okay, disability bill. So uh, a current affairs teacher has got an advantage that all the dynamic topics of UPSC, be it the agriculture amendment bills, okay, though agri bills, drones, etc., everything comes in my domain. But yes, as a subject, I'm into polity, public administration, and economy, right? The static part I'm talking about. So this is all. Now moving further, Uttarakhand to roll out uniform civil code. What I am interested in is you should know what is the entry in the constitution that enables the state government to have state legislative assembly to pass a bill. Article 44 talks about uniform civil code. We all know about it. Okay, the state shall make conditions. State shall endeavor to secure for citizens a uniform civil code. This is given in the directive principles of state policy throughout the territory of India. Personal laws such as intestacy, succession of property, like we were talking about Waqf bill, okay, succession of property, all these matters come under civil code. Okay, now divorce, as we see triple talaq in Islam, okay, halala, etc., those practices are derogatory or disadvantageous for the women of the Muslim community. That is why Supreme Court had used the term constitutional morality. That Supreme Court said in triple talaq judgment and Sabarimala judgment. See, in it is not only about Muslims, it is about Hindus as a sect. The sections of Hindu Samaj, sections of Hindus as a religious entity also need some reform. For example, temple entry ban. Okay, in Maharashtra, etc., a lot of states, Madhya Pradesh, still the women are not allowed to enter those temple premises like Sabarimala temple ban. So one after the other, Supreme Court has been painstakingly reforming these derogatory or the discriminatory religious practices one after the other. But isn't it too humongous a task? Isn't it too big a task to file a case in the Supreme Court for every such religious practice which is derogatory to women or which is discriminatory to one section or the other section of a particular religion? Triple talaq, Sabarimala judgment, Sabarimala temple entry ban, right? So these practices, while adjudicating upon Sabarimala temple entry ban, Supreme Court said that religious morality of any religion should give way to constitutional morality. Okay. Now, you should not be bothered by religious morality when you are being governed by the constitution of the great nation, India. Okay. You should be bothered. The only morality that will prevail in a constitutional democracy is constitutional morality. No religious practice which is antithetical. No religious practice which is antithetical to the constitutional morality should come in the way of rule of law. Okay, no religious practice, be it of Islam, be it of Hindus, be it of Buddhism, be it of Christianity, whatsoever. Got it? So this is the crux of it. So you know this Uniform Civil Code. Anybody who is preparing for Uttarakhand should read it in detail. But features of Uttarakhand: provisions a complete ban on practices such as halala, idat, and talaq, customs related to marriage and divorce in Muslim personal law, ensures that women are given equal rights in the matters related to property. Now, in Hinduism, the property of the father vests in the son. Even if we talk about Hindu undivided family business, HUF, etc., but certain laws have been passed by the parliament in 2002 and later on, which give the right of equal inheritance in the property, equal rights in the property of the deceased father to the sisters also. Not only the sons, not only the brothers, but also the sisters would be co-parceners. So these kind of reforms are being brought. Until now, we have been bringing about these reforms in bits and pieces. Okay, piece by piece. That is a long time taking task. It has already taken us 76, 77 years from independence. Now, historic moments in the history of the nation were lost when we drafted our constitution. Jawaharlal Nehru and other leaders, they were skeptical. They were not in favor of the idea of implementing the reforms of Muslim personal law or implementing uniform civil code right at that stage itself. Why? Because the Muslims who migrated from from Pakistan, they were already in panic. So the government of the day, 1950s, they thought that it would not be a good idea to implement uniform civil code. That is why they postponed it to a later date. Okay, so Anshu, are you talking about uniform civil code? Mandatory. Now, what are the other features? Mandatory to register marriage and divorce. If any couple does not register their marriage, then they would not be entitled to avail of the benefits of any government scheme. Maternity benefit, uh, various other schemes like ration card, etc. So, if anyone wants to avail of the welfare benefits from the government schemes, they have to mandatorily register their marriage so that the government has a record as to who's marrying whom, right? So, these things are there. I will take a dedicated lecture on ARC, don't worry, it's a very big topic. Okay, now it has stringent provisions for failure to register live-in relations. Now we are in the age of live-in relations, etc. So in the Uttarakhand, if somebody is staying in live-in relations, that is without marrying with one another, so it is registered. It is mandatory to register these live-in relations also. The children born out of a live-in relationship will be considered a legitimate child of the couple. That means that child born out of the live-in relations will have the legitimate right on the property of the father and the joint responsibility to upbring that child also. Scheduled tribes have been kept out of the scope of this law. So this is for Uttarakhand only. Got it? Now, what is UCC? A legal framework, objective, etc. Please read it yourself from the PDF. Okay, these are very, very static portions. What matters is entry 5 of the concurrent list talks about the power of the state legislative assembly to enact a law like this uniform civil code. Even the state legislative assembly can make a law. Clear? Now, which panel is better for Mullaperiyar? Supreme Court asks the states of Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Let me give you a brief of this news clipping. Mullaperiyar Dam, right, constructed way back. Now 129 years old dam has been facing breaches, has been facing cracks in its walls, which might lead to a big disaster. So maintenance and upkeep of the dam is very important. Herein comes the picture, the dispute between Kerala and Tamil Nadu, the states which are using the waters of this dam. Now, what happened in the history? When the dam was constructed, a treaty was signed between the erstwhile state of Madras and state of Travancore, Kerala, to use. The treaty said that the dam would be constructed by Tamil Nadu, upkeep and maintenance of the dam, and the area surrounding Mullaperiyar Dam, 100 acres of land, will be vested in the state of Tamil Nadu. Now, the problem is the dam is located in the state of Kerala, constructed by Tamil Nadu, but the waters of this dam are being used for irrigating and other purposes, are being used for irrigation and other purposes for watering for irrigation facilities in the 5 districts of Tamil Nadu. Kerala has always been unhappy with this state of affairs. Okay, sometimes they have a dispute on whether how much water should be stored in the dam. Kerala says we don't want to store this much water, 142 meters in height. Why? Because the dam is very old. Because of the excessive pressure of water on the walls, the dam might collapse altogether. But Tamil Nadu says that storage of more water would lead to all the year round water availability for irrigating the 5 districts of Tamil Nadu. Now, what is happening in the recent context? Tamil Nadu wants to repair and maintain the dam, but Kerala is not letting it to, because the dam is located in Kerala. Tamil Nadu, the state of Tamil Nadu is ready to incur money, ready to incur the resources required to maintain the dam. Because of such unsafe dams, aging dams in India, Dam Safety Act of 2021 was passed. In that Dam Safety Act, a Dam Safety Committee is to be constituted. Now, state of Kerala is not happy with the Dam Safety Committee, because the Dam Safety Committee chairperson is appointed by the union government, which is also not playing a neutral role. State union government, the central government is also playing a partisan role, in the sense that it wants to win elections in either Kerala or Tamil Nadu. So Kerala says that we are not happy with the Dam Safety Committee. That Dam Safety Committee will, as per Section 5 of Dam Safety Act 2021, this committee is constituted. Okay, this committee will have members from the central government, from both the state governments. Okay, and 3 experts who specialize in the matter of water. Got it? Now the Supreme Court is asking them that if you are not happy with the Dam Safety Committee, are you happy with the supervisory committee formed by the Supreme Court? Supreme Court is giving them the 2 options. One is Dam Safety Committee constituted as per 2021 Act, or the other committee is Supervisory Committee formed by Supreme Court. Okay, Supervisory Committee. Which one of the 2 is better? So they have been asked a question orally as to which committee's advice would be acceptable to you. Also, oral remarks by the judges of the Supreme Court have reprimanded the state of Kerala for creating an obstruction in the way of maintenance of the dam by the state of Tamil Nadu. These Supreme Court said that by not accepting either of the 2, by not accepting either Supervisory Committee or Dam Safety Committee, Kerala state is adopting obstructionary tactics. It is obstructing the maintenance work of the dam, leading to putting the lives of the people into peril, into danger. Right? So these are the remarks. Now you should know the geographical aspects of it. Idukki Reservoir, this is there. Then Periyar Tiger Reserve is also there. Mullaperiyar Dam, the name comes from the Periyar River. Okay. Then there is a Suruliyar hydropower project constructed in the state of Tamil Nadu. Suruliyar hydropower project, the electricity generated from this power project goes to Tamil Nadu alone. Kerala says that the river Periyar passes through our state. The dam is constructed in the state of Kerala. Why this 999-year lease to Tamil Nadu as per the Periyar Water Treaty? Lease means this the then Maharaja of Travancore had given it to the Secretary of State of Mysore during the British era. Now Kerala says that this is not acceptable to us because it was passed in the pre-independence era. This kind of a dispute has been going on. Okay, Mullaperiyar Dam history. The river and the dam are so called because dam is located after the confluence of Mullayar and Periyar River. Mullayar and Periyar River. The dam is 155 meters in height and 1200 feet long. So you can imagine the amount of water stored in it. And you can also imagine if there is a breach in the dam, if there is a damage to the dam, how much lives would be put into danger, how many lives would be taken away. The construction began in 1887 and was completed in 1895. What was the dam's purpose? The dam's purpose was to divert the waters of the west flowing rivers of Kerala towards the east. Periyar River water needs to be diverted from the west to the east to the arid rain shadow regions of Thani, Madurai, Sivaganga and Ramananthapuram districts of Tamil Nadu. Okay, so this was the purpose. The construction of the dam paved the way for creation of artificial lake at the center of the reserve, which is called as Periyar Lake. At the center of the reserve, there is an artificial lake created. Periyar Tiger Reserve covers the area inclusive of and around an artificial lake created because of the construction of Mullaperiyar Dam. Hence, though the dam is situated in Kerala, it is operated by the state of Tamil Nadu. How much water level would be there, everything is decided by Tamil Nadu. Now, it was according to the 999-year lease agreement, Periyar Lake lease agreement as it is called, made during the British rule. Got it? Now, there's a question, this was asked by UPSC in way back in 2010. Still, you can at least attempt it, right? Question number 1 for the day. Try attempting it. If anybody knows the answer to it, it'll be good. Moving further, pollution case. Supreme Court is asking the state of Delhi or the Union Urban Ministry, that how come this is happening, that people in Delhi and other metro cities of India are buying n number of cars. Each household in Delhi, you can see the state of affairs here. This is the state of affairs in every big city of India. Okay, this is the picture from Punjab, Ludhiana and other town. See the cars parked like ants, walking one after the other. Okay, they are parked on the street. So Supreme Court has asked a very pertinent question, that don't we have a substantial parking policy? Supreme Court said that it is necessary to enact such a parking policy so as to avoid this or curb the phenomena of this nuisance, whereby we are stuck in traffic snarls, we are not even able to breathe because of dense smog in the capital city of the Delhi, right? Supreme Court asked if there was any restriction on the number of vehicles a person could own in the same city, and if there was a law that ensured commercial and residential complexes had enough parking spots on their premises. What is happening is DLF, GMR, these big construction companies, they are constructing apartments. Now the Supreme Court is asking, are these commercial malls, shopping malls or residential complexes are having enough parking spots while getting the building plan approved from bodies like Haryana Urban Development Authority, Delhi Development Authority, Punjab Urban Development Authority. If they do not have the plan which incorporates the parking space, how and why are we giving the approval to these plans? Right? In Chandigarh, in this regard, union territories in India are administered much better. In Union Territory of Chandigarh, floor-wise sale of property, the same residential plot, if it is having 3 floors, you cannot construct the 4th floor, 5th floor. Why? Because Chandigarh administration has, I would say, rightfully realized that there is a limit to how much traffic, to how much population can the drainage system, can the roads of Chandigarh bear. How much of pollution of cars can the sky under the Chandigarh bear? Sky over the Chandigarh bear, right? If you are having n number of cars, that will clog the city's roads. If you are having n number of people coming and settling down in Chandigarh, constructing floor after floor, this would lead to choking down of the drainage system of Chandigarh. That is why earlier Chandigarh had permitted floor-wise registry for every plot of land, every floor being constructed. Now this has been banned. If you want to buy the property, one single family can buy one single entire house having maximum 3 floors in it, right? These kind of reforms are required in big cities, metro cities of India also. While getting the building plan approved, you should have the parking space provision, otherwise your plan won't be approved. Got it? So this is there. Now, Mr. Singh said, the petitioner said the vehicles parked on roads were a common sight in the capital, like in Delhi. The bench proposed orally that public authorities must buy e-vehicles. Now, I leave you with a teaser. Is it a good idea to go for e-vehicles when the source of energy powering those e-vehicles is primarily thermal power based? We are having 70% of the electricity coming from thermal based, coal based power plants. If we are buying e-vehicle, aren't we just shifting the burden to the pollution burden to the area where that thermal power plant is located? Now, that thermal power plant is not located in Pakistan or Sri Lanka or Nepal. That thermal power plant is located somewhere in India only. So the pollution under the sky of India is increasing. It is just that that pollution is not happening in Delhi. Right? There are other reasons to it, which my friend, one of the colleague teachers, had uploaded a video short on YouTube short on. You can watch that YouTube short also to have 4 or 5 reasons as to why e-vehicles are not good or are not panacea for the pollution problem of India. To my mind, it is a scam propagated by the vested interest to make you buy e-vehicles. Lithium ion batteries are causing pollution, right? That pollution burden is being shifted. Got it? So these things are there. Now, these are the MCQs for 21st of January with reference to Uniform Civil Code. You can quickly take a screenshot if you want to before we flip on to the other slide. These are the questions, guys. The answers to the questions of yesterday's MCQs will be revealed after the questions for the day. This is the question number 2. I'm sure you have taken the screenshot of question number 1. I give you 5 seconds quickly. Okay, question number 2. With reference to asset reconstruction companies, which of the following statements is or are correct? Third, consider the following statements regarding the legal framework of Waqf in India. Fourth, consider the following statements regarding Namdhari movement, the Sikh movement, the Kuka movement. Fifth, Lalitgiri, Ratnagiri, Udaygiri, Langudi. Buddhist sites they are asking about. Very easy question though. So these are the questions for yesterday. You can find them in the PDF also. PDF you can download from the Telegram channel. Jatin Verma, PW only IAS. Okay. Now second, then third, then fourth, then fifth, then sixth. Okay. So I leave you with this. Have a good day. Plan your day well. Plan your syllabus execution well before you set out for the day. Okay, before you start executing it, you should have the plan ready. Every day make a list of 5 to 7 points as to what you are going to study, in how much time are you going to complete the same, and when are you going to revise it, when are you going to cover its MCQs. Allocate your time to your GS, current affairs and optional subject in a balanced manner. Otherwise, you will just go on studying and studying like a bus without a route plate. You should know the route where you are going before boarding the bus. Similarly, before boarding the day, before starting off with your day, you should know the route plan of the day. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good day.